That musty blast when you turn on your car's air conditioning, that's not just stale air, it's mold colonies growing inches from your face. Most drivers have no idea a 30-second habit could prevent it entirely. Every time you run the air conditioning in your car, a simple bit of physics plays out behind the dashboard. The system's coldest part, the evaporator core, drops well below the temperature of the air inside your cabin. Even on a mild day, the metal fins can be 5 to 10 degrees Celsius colder than the air swirling past them. That temperature gap is all it takes for moisture to jump out of the air and cling as droplets to the metal. The process is automatic. Whenever warm, humid air hits those cold fins, water condenses instantly, much like a glass of iced tea sweating on a summer table. In a typical drive, the evaporator collects water at a rate of about half a gram to 2 grams per minute. It does not sound like much, but over a 30-minute commute, that adds up to several tablespoons of water forming right on the core. Most of this drains away, but a thin film always lingers, especially if the fan slows down or the car shuts off right after you park. The droplets do not just vanish. Instead, they spread into a damp coating that can stick around for hours in a sealed cabin, especially when outside humidity is high. That leftover moisture is the real culprit behind stubborn odors. It is not just a little dampness, it is a hidden persistent wet zone, tucked out of sight, creating the perfect environment for unwanted guests to move in. The problem starts with water, not with the smell itself. Understanding how quickly and reliably these droplets form is the first step to stopping the cycle before it even begins. Once that invisible film of moisture forms on the evaporator, the countdown begins. Within just a few hours, common airborne spores, like those from Aspergillus, Penicillium, or Cladosporium, find the damp surface and start to grow. These molds are perfectly suited to the dark, cool, and humid conditions inside the air conditioning housing. As they feed on tiny bits of dust and organic particles, they release a cocktail of volatile organic compounds, known as VOCs, into the air. The most notorious is 1-octan-3-OL, sometimes called mushroom alcohol, which triggers that unmistakable musty smell at concentrations as low as 0.1 parts per million. For most people, that is enough to notice after just 3 to 7 days of lingering moisture. An indoor air scientist puts it simply: if the evaporator stays wet, you can expect measurable mold growth and detectable odor in less than a week. Even before you spot any visible mold, these VOCs slip into the cabin air, signaling trouble long before colonies become obvious. It does not take much, just a few days of a persistently damp core, and the air can start to feel stale, earthy, or even sour. The process is fast, and it is relentless. That is why drying out the system quickly is not just about comfort. It is about stopping the odor before it takes hold and affects every drive. A certified ASE technician pulls back the plastic housing and points to a thin layer of grime on the evaporator core. That is where the trouble starts. Technicians look for signs like pooled water in the drain pan, dark streaks on the fins, or a slippery, slimy film, each one a red flag for mold. The smell is only the first warning. If the system gets bad enough, it is not just an air freshener fix. Professional evaporator cleaning runs anywhere from $150 to $300, depending on the car and where you live. That means a single deep clean can costs as much as a monthly car payment. Even a basic cabin air filter swap, often needed when mold takes hold, runs $15 to $50, not counting labor at a dealership. For some drivers, the bill climbs higher if the technician finds a blocked drain or recommends a chemical treatment. Compared to the cost of ignoring that musty smell, a simple no-cost habit starts to look like the smartest move in the manual. An ASE certified technician sits behind the wheel and breaks it down, step by step. After parking, keep the engine running for a moment, then switch off the air conditioning compressor, but leave the fan on high. Make sure the system is set to fresh air mode, not recirculation. This lets outside air, which is usually drier, sweep through the evaporator core. The fan's full blast forces warm air across those cold fins, helping any leftover moisture evaporate fast. For most drives in mild to warm weather, 30 seconds is enough to clear the film of water that mold loves. In sticky or rainy conditions, or after a long commute, stretching this fan run to 2 to 3 minutes gives even better results. If it is cold out, below 10 degrees Celsius, the coil will not warm up much, so the trick is not as effective. After the timer hits 30 seconds, a quick sniff at the vent can verify the difference. The air should feel fresher, with no hint of must or dampness. This habit takes less than a minute, costs nothing, and helps keep the cabin air clean day after day. A fresher drive comes down to one small habit. Today, clean air is in your hands. No tools, no hassle. Sometimes, the best fixes really are that simple. Thanks for watching.